Hello, 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 my loves. How are you? This is Jawan with EQ with Jah. So, I wanted to make this message because I know a lot of people deal with not understanding what past regression and past life therapy is and what it means to do shadow work. So, I'm going to give you a brief explanation. So, basically, your body. So I'll use myself. Me, Jawan, the talking person, the flesh, the brain, the ego, the things that makes all of the rational decisions and learns through logic and happenstance of practicality. That is the human form. Because remember, I could be a quadriplegic in a chair, not using my body at all, and then I can't speak, kind of like think of Stephen Hawkins. He's still alive. His brain still works just fine. His soul is still just. He's proving he's the smartest fucking man alive, pretty much. His body is alive because his soul still has its purpose and he's not dead. But his body is not functioning the way it needs to. So you kind of stop even looking at the body and you see how the integration of the mind and the soul works. So, knowing this, now that I've dissected what the flesh is, the soul is what decides it's going to incarnate the egg in the seed of your father. So you know that moment, like we've had moments where they say like the egg and the sperm go into the egg, and they're like it's not viable. They work together, but the sperm died inside of there because no soul picked that egg. That's it. That's all it is. It sounds sad, but it's true. It's just at that time there was no soul journey to go through because the body, the foundation, which is us, wasn't ready, which means it had to go through more experiences to be ready because you gotta have deep roots, which is your body. It has to be viable earth, healthy, ready to be planted in for anything, a baby, a husband, a job to come into your life because it needs the foundation. It's like, those it won't it's too shallow, it won't be strong enough for my roots. Nature knows this. This is why certain plants grow certain places. So you have to be aware and treat your body the same. Like this experience is making me deeper, is making me more grounded, is making me go deeper into my own self, which is the soul work. So then when we have emotions, let's say you're talking to someone and they say something to you in a way that it's unsettling. It feels like, ugh, I don't like that. In that moment of not liking that, that's your soul's reaction. Your body is the vessel, which is the car or whatever. I use a lot of analogies, but it's basically the vessel that receives the energy. All your body sees is like it's a computer chip. Zzz, patient B is doing this, and then they did this with that tone plus this. So B plus A plus C plus the equals attitude. And then in our minds, how do I? And then just like that's why I love that movie with the colors and the emotions and stuff in the head. And just like that, the switchboard of emotions is like, how the fuck should we react to this? Are they reacting? Are they talking to us? Or are they talking because they have in a moment? If you have rational emotions that have done the actual spirit work inside of themselves, because the emotions all have to do work on themselves. Your happiness has to do work because it has to know what's real and what's fake. Your anger has to do with the work because it has to know what's real and what's fake. Sadness has to do the work, it has to know what's real and what's fake. Sadness is sadness regardless, but even in sadness, you can laugh and find joy. That's the duality of having mature sadness. Sad depression sadness is what it sounds like, going into this hole where can't nobody pull you out, and everyone's trying to pull you out and you just go deeper. The body likes the attention, so the body's going to keep making you go into deeper depressions to get that chemical that produces the love it's getting. But the mind is going to convince itself with the soul's journey that you're stuck in this place that's trapped. So I have learned how to be what meditation does is it gets you to a place of knowing that the body, the mind, you have to just put your computer on sleep mode. It's still all the processing and everything in the computer still works, it's still going, but put the actual machine on sleep mode. That's what meditation does. And that's a beautiful process, but we also now as spiritualists have to get past the point of thinking meditation is the key. We have to say medication is the key to opening the door, but it's not the key to fixing our problems. So it's learning how to make the body get still and then allowing yourself to go into the world and see that Um, the soul still has soul ties. So when you meet someone that's like, you seem so familiar to me, they probably were in your soul path life somewhere else. And when I say soul paths, you are just a replication of your parents, who are a replication of their parents, who are a replication of their parents, and so on and so forth. We understand genealogy. We don't need to go back and figure all this out. The things I say, if you need to, research them, look them up. This is how I got to this point too. I want you to know that here's a book. I'm not going to go through and read passages for you. That's your job. I'm going to hand you the book to read. And right now, we all know what spirituality is and what meditation is, but we don't know what to do with them. So when we get to a point where, let's say, now, same situation, somebody comes to you and they're angry and they're yelling at you and they're blaming you, instead of allowing the soul to go back to some past trigger that remembers somebody doing that to them and killing them or hurting them. That's why some people's anxieties are so heavy, because there's a past history ancestor in their life who was abused that way or got hurt that way. So their innate instinctual fear gave it to you as an offspring child of that generation, and now you innately are just afraid of that. It just happens. But through understanding, wait, this person isn't attacking me, and if they are attacking me, I myself physically know how to personally fight. I don't have to, but I know how to. So if something does try to hurt me, I'm fine. That puts my body at ease, which puts my mind at ease, which allows my heart, which only pumps the blood in the vessels of whatever chemical is dripping from your brain down into it, is going to react to. So if I'm like, I'm good, we feel the elevation, we see the possible threat, but we understand, like, we good. They ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't gonna touch me. We good. That's that. When they touch you, then you unleash the carnal hell of the soul and say, ah! Because that's the point. That's the duality of life. Don't test me just because I didn't play this game with you. You know what I mean? People want you to play that game with them. The soul wants you to play that game with it too. When it gets bored, unfortunately, the soul picks at its own body. Hey, we're mad about this. Hey, we're sad about this. Hey, we don't believe this. That's a bored soul, because the soul is not meant to just sit. That's why we're all going through what we're going through. Just sitting in a room, just doing that. The soul wants to create. The soul wants to, so if it can't create beauty, it's going to create chaos. That is the job of the soul. That's why you have to learn how to balance the ego and the soul, so that then you can live in your divinity, which takes you to the trifecta. So there's the ego, soul, connect, bam, trifecta, divinity, which is the top. The sacred geometry, because once you get to the, I know how to put my ego and soul aside, I know how to listen to my soul's journey and follow all of the places it's been trapped through the ego, and then I know how to listen to this ego, because this ego who's living in 2020 has nothing to do with the ego of ancestral energy that was given to me from 1820. Does that make sense? There's people who are still living out ancestor ties from centuries ago. That's why when I tell people, of all people of ethnicities, but especially anyone of Caucasian descent, just own the history of degradation, so you can let that shame and fear go, because it don't belong to you either. It don't belong to us. But what you can't do is use the fear and anger from the past to come up to me, Juwan, in 2020, and talk to me like I'm Juwan from, or Toby from 1816. I don't know. But do you understand what I'm saying? There's people who still are conditionally infected by that energy of, oh, because of this one color or this one understanding of something, this whole history of ancestor belongs to them. No, it doesn't. And that's not fair to keep doing to our kids. That's not fair to keep doing to our generations. We have to let them live their lives and create their own, which is why millennials are amazing. And Gen X, oh, they don't give a fuck. And I love it, because they're like, I don't have time for you. I know that I can make money this way and be radical and be outgoing and be creative and be loving and do all this. I don't have to dress this way, act this way, or talk this way to be successful. Matter of fact, how about you take care of my account, Sue? You know what I mean? I get what people are saying, but I get over that whole, if you want to be successful, wear a suit. For who? Because that means you're trying to appease someone. And when you're trying to appease someone, you're trying to say that this is what success looks like. Yes, dressing up feels good. It's nice. But that's not the only way to success. I want us to all remember these are keys to getting us to being successful, to feeling successful. So understanding that the feeling is when you allow the ego, which is me, to say, thank you, I like doing this. And the soul is like, yes, I enjoy doing this with you too. That's when you make your functionality and your purpose marry. But if you're doing jobs that you don't like, your soul's like, I'm bored with this, I hate this life, so I'm going to create a bunch of scenarios in our head that make us convinced we have to do this job even more and hate our lives even more and see how much I can make you torture yourself before you realize I hate this. That's why things make us feel the way they feel, because the soul is like, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, and this is boring. And then we try to live it through the flesh, which is drugs, sex, alcohol, and everything else. So this is why it's key to finding balance in both your light and darkness and doing the shadow work and talking to yourself, because a lot of the things that you might feel may not belong to you. They were literally probably given to you through a storytelling of your tribe, which is your ancestors, your family, and the people around you. So really be able to pay attention on how to navigate your own narrative, and you'll get closer to yourself, which is the spirit work and the soul work, which is not easy, but it's necessary. And then you'll get to the place where you find that this is the foundation I want to grow. This is the land that I want to reap. This is where I want to grow my seeds, because I see how much beauty is around me and what we can create for them and for us. And they'll appreciate that, and they don't have to worry about living through a lack mentality or scarcity mentality or fear mentality that was given to them through ancestor of nothing. Right now it's sad because this is what's going on, but again, the ones of us who can sit in our houses and create and post, we're privileged. We're watching the rest of the world who might not have the privilege pass sooner than they have to, regardless of what it is. People don't shouldn't have to pass sooner than they have to, but the life that we're seeing now, we're starting to see how much of an input it means to have when we actually work together as a community and we actually work with ourselves, because it takes one person to say this isn't right and I feel I should do this and create something and do it. So I love people who are creating websites for people who need resources. I love people who are promoting the arts and different things that they love to do, so somebody else can pick up a talent and gift and remind their soul of who they are. This is important. We are all facilitators, light workers, and healers. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you all for understanding that positivity is not just about being happy all the time. Positivity is understanding that darkness is going to come and it's going to happen, but you have to learn how to love yourself through the darkness and know that you're okay. And you're going to have to tell these stories one day, but don't tell them through fear. Tell them through triumph. All right? I love you guys. Be well. Besos. Mwah.